The HOA officer's voice sliced through the air like a warning shot. "Step out of the truck now." His hands trembled around the pistol aimed squarely at my son, Jason. But Jason didn't even blink. His stare stayed steady, unreadable, the kind of calm that only comes from surviving real combat. My pulse hammered so hard it felt like it might burst through my chest. Some man wearing a fake badge and vest was threatening my son on our own property. Before you weigh in below and tell me where you're tuning in from, let's see how far this story reaches. When I bought this ranch just outside Willow Creek, I thought I'd found peace, 40 acres of cedar, pasture, and quiet skies. A place where the loudest sound was the hum of cicadas and where neighbors waved instead of spied. For years, that dream held true, until the HOA from the new subdivision nearby decided tranquility didn't turn a profit. At first, their harassment was small stuff. Flyers shoved under my gate about non-compliant fencing, letters calling my barn an eyesore visible from the road. None of it applied. My deed proved I wasn't part of their jurisdiction. Still, their board, led by Patricia Hall, kept pressing. It worsened once Jason came home from years of overseas service. He wanted quiet, a place to heal and help me manage the ranch. Instead, Patricia and her crew treated him like an intruder. Overnight, they created a new rule: 55 and older community only. Jason was 30, and suddenly, his presence was a violation. Then came Carl. He wasn't a cop, not even licensed security anymore, though his badge said otherwise. He drove a dented Tahoe labeled HOA Enforcement, wore a black vest printed HOA Cop, and strutted like he carried federal authority. I caught him photographing Jason's truck, issuing bogus citations, and peering through our barn windows. I stormed into Patricia's office, slammed the stack of fake notices on her desk, and said, "My ranch isn't part of your HOA. Call off your guard dog." She just smiled. "Carl's here to protect the community. If your son disrupts the peace, we'll respond accordingly." My jaw locked. "You don't have jurisdiction over me or him." She leaned in and whispered, "Maybe not legally, but perception is power, and right now, people think your son doesn't belong." That's when I knew. It wasn't incompetence, it was a campaign. They wanted Jason gone. For weeks, tension brewed. Carl followed him, blocked his truck at the gate, muttered threats about rules. I told Jason to stay calm. He just grinned that soldier's grin and said, "Dad, I've faced worse than wannabe cops." But Carl only got bolder. Then came the day it all broke. The morning started like any other, Jason hauling hay, dust on his shirt, cap pulled low. I was fixing the barn hinges when I heard tires crunching gravel. Carl's Tahoe stopped halfway down the drive, dust swirling behind it. He stepped out, hand already near his holster, HOA Cop glinting across his chest. Jason hopped out of his truck, wiping sweat from his brow. Then Carl's gun snapped up, aimed dead center at my boy. "Step out of the truck!" he barked, too loud, too desperate. Jason froze, not scared, just calculating. I saw that same unbreakable focus from his deployment days. He raised his hand slowly, never breaking eye contact. My stomach twisted. "Carl, put the damn gun down!" I yelled, moving forward. He ignored me. "This man's a violation. He's not authorized on this property. He's a threat to the community. I'm detaining him under HOA authority." HOA authority? My blood boiled. "There's no such thing," I snapped. "Texas Penal Code 3711, impersonating an officer is a felony." He'd just crossed that line. Jason's voice cut through the air, steady as steel. "You don't want to do this, Carl." Carl sneered. "You think I'm scared of you? You're too young, too reckless. You don't belong here." Jason tilted his head, that half smile I knew too well. "Buddy, I've had real guns pointed at me by men who could actually shoot. You're shaking." And his finger twitching on the trigger, safety off. One slip and someone would die. "Drop it, son," I warned. "That's a felony. You're armed, trespassing, and impersonating law enforcement." Carl glared at me. "Shut your mouth, old man. You've let this punk stay too long. I'll handle it." But Jason moved like lightning, sidestepped, disarmed him, twisted the pistol free in a single motion. Carl stumbled back, clutching his wrist, face white as chalk. "What the hell are you?" he spat. Jason's stare didn't waver. "Special Forces," he said quietly. "You picked the wrong man." Silence fell, thick and heavy. Jason held the gun low, finger clear of the trigger, controlled, professional. I pulled out my phone, recording.
"Carl, you're finished."
You just committed armed trespass, animal cruelty last week, and now aggravated assault. That's prison time. Carl puffed up, but his shaking betrayed him. Jason stepped closer. Leave now before the sheriff hauls you out in cuffs. Carl's act cracked. He backed off, muttering, "This isn't over." Then tires screamed, gravel flew, and he sped away. Jason ejected the magazine, cleared the chamber, and handed me the gun. Dad, he's dangerous. He'll be back. My chest tightened. Then it's time the sheriff hears everything. No more patience. No more leniency. This was war. And with Carl's pistol still warm in my hand, I knew we had the proof to bury the HOA's empire once and for all. If you're hooked on this story, hit like and subscribe. The best part's still ahead. The silence after Carl left didn't last long. By dusk, deputies were at my gate. I handed over the pistol and Jason's dash cam footage. Deputy Waters took notes calmly. We'll take your statements, secure the evidence, and process the footage, he said. If he's been brandishing a weapon and impersonating authority, that's serious. Jason stayed quiet while the investigation unfolded faster than I'd imagined. Within 48 hours, the sheriff had interviewed half a dozen neighbors. One had photographed Carl's vest months ago. Another had copies of his fake incident logs. When deputies searched Carl's Tahoe, they found the counterfeit badge, stacks of HOA violation slips with forged signatures, and a burner phone packed with surveillance photos and recordings. The district attorney hit Carl with multiple charges: impersonating an officer, unlawful brandishing, criminal trespass, and assault with a deadly weapon. Together, those charges carried heavy felony penalties, enough to scare anyone straight. But Carl wasn't acting alone. The digital team traced messages and emails back to the HOA board. Patricia and her allies had secretly approved Carl's actions, sending payments labeled as private security. One text from Patricia read, "Make him uncomfortable. Pressure will make him sell." When confronted, her face went pale. That text unraveled everything. The county attorney issued subpoenas. The state licensing board launched an investigation. The sheriff's office referred the case to the DA for conspiracy and organized harassment. Neighbors who'd stayed silent began stepping forward, sharing illegal notices, threats, and proof of intimidation. One couple even had a voicemail of Patricia threatening their teenage son for non-compliance. Then came the civil suits, a class action for harassment, emotional distress, and abuse of power. I filed my own for assault, trespass, and punitive damages. The HOA's insurer tried to dodge liability, but once their involvement with Carl was public, they settled fast. Results came quick. Carl pleaded guilty to impersonation and unlawful brandishing, got probation, restitution, and a suspended sentence. Patricia and her board faced conspiracy charges. Some took plea deals, others got indicted. The county froze HOA accounts, revoked their authority, and a judge placed them under receivership pending a full audit. In civil court, the victims, myself included, won hundreds of thousands in damages and attorney's fees, enough to make sure no one pulled this stunt again in Willow Creek. Standing on the porch weeks later, Jason beside me, I didn't feel victory so much as balance restored. The bullies who built their power on fear lost everything to the truth. They thought they were untouchable. They weren't. Turns out, intimidation is cheap. Accountability costs a fortune. So what do you think, folks? Did that so-called HOA cop get what he deserved? What would you have done if it was your land?